Welcome to Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite, refire, and refuel your life. And today we have our returning wonderful guest, a special guest on the show. It's Lois Warnock. Yeah,
Thank you.
Lois, so good to see you back. Yeah, to have you back on the show because the first interview, if you guys haven't watched it, it's actually you can find it here on the Hummingbird Academy Today page on Facebook, or you can find it on YouTube if you just go to Zhanna Shpits channel or just simply put Dream Big with Zhanna Lois. You will find that first episode. And we in that first one, in the first episode, Lois actually was sharing her story. But there's also something that is going to be super valuable for everybody. It's something that she is doing at the end of that first episode, something that you can recycle and use for your personal um, well, as a personal preference, but really, really eye opening every day. So I'll leave it at that. Go watch it. And today we have another space. We've created another space for the episode titled, Are You a Medium? And that's an intriguing title and lots of questions around that. But before we dive into that, Lois, would it be okay if I tell people a little bit about you?
Yes, absolutely. Please.
Okay, so a little bit of Lois' official bio piece. After a 30-year business career, Lois chose to pursue the energy healing arts in 2005 to the present, obtaining several Reiki Master designations, crystal resonance therapy certification, it's a 2-year program, advanced meditative studies in Primus healing techniques, and advanced angel empowerment practitioner certification. That's a lot. These teachings provided an incredible vibrational healing in her life. In 2012, on a spiritual trek to Alaska, she was introduced to the spiritualist teachings and met her master teachers. Lois's spiritual psychic artistry has come alive from that place, and she is able to see and connect with your spirit guides and or loved ones that have crossed into spirit that are wishing to connect with you. As she draws and brings them forward, they bring messages through her for guidance and healing for you. Lois has drawn over 700 psychic portraits for clients and is humbled and very honored to be able to provide the healing connections from the spirit world to you, to every one of you. So this is the official piece. It's a lot, and you are just such a gift and a gem to
Oh,
you
thank you.
because you always radiate harmony, confidence, and this love, the internal love and light that is coming through you. And you guys, if you're watching us on YouTube or here on Facebook, you can see these paintings around or behind Lois. These are her creations, and they are all colorful, just like you, Lois. So
Oh, thank you.
let's
Thank you for
start.
having me.
There you go. Let's start.
Thank you.
Let's dive in.
Okay.
So yeah,
Go
just
for it.
go for it. I'll throw some of the questions, and you will start with wherever you want to start. I'm the guinea pig. I'm the guinea pig on the show
Okay.
today. My question is, people who are interested, just like me, and who would love to develop their medium ability or psychic ability. What would you recommend? Well, number one, is it a quality that you are born with? Is it a gift that you are born with, or can you actually tune in into that and develop it in yourself? And we'll just go from there. We'll see.
Okay, that sounds great. So that question, are you born as a medium? Well, some people might be, others not. However, the good thing is that it's actually everybody has the ability or capability to become psychic or be a medium, and it's I guess a lot of choices in our lifetime. It's like a part of the brain, like And I always equate it to learning how to play the piano or even being an artist. We have those in history and even in today that seem to be born with this gift. We have a little girl that, was painting these beautiful portraits from where, spirit side. We have some of the composers, the great masters that seem to have been born with things. Well, just like that, there are those in history and around us. However, there's a lot of them that have developed their ability to play music and to do art. And I'm using those as an example through practice, through different techniques. And so they're actually tapping into a part of the brain that houses that. And it's the same thing with, I believe, with psychic development and being a medium, is that we all have that ability. So it's really about learning, how do I tap into that and how do I develop it? And there's a gazillion books out there on connecting to the spirit world, connecting to the spirit side, becoming a psychic, becoming a medium. And there's just it's almost so much out there that it, when people look at all that, they go, oh my gosh, where do I even begin? Right.
Exactly. So
And so, I guess the first thing that I would say to people is that if they have a curiosity about what is psychic or what is mediumship, then they're already starting down that path of if they feel, and I actually went through some questions just to ask people. So I'm going to list a few, and for you, so you could maybe even do a head nod, yes or no, just as an indication. So when you walk into a room and feel pressure or heat or sort of a change in your physically how you feel or even your emotions, does that ever happen to you?
absolutely. I want to remind Lois that everybody, guys, if you're watching or listening, replay or live right now, when Lois is asking me questions, also kind of get the answers for yourselves.
Yes,
So yeah,
perfect,
we're doing it.
perfect.
Yeah, we are doing it for everybody.
Yes. So the other one, as a child, do you remember having that very vivid imaginary friend or see things that perhaps you didn't think anybody else saw, like your parents, or so that play friend that was very vivid to you?
May
Um,
I say
yeah,
something on
absolutely.
that? I haven't had the imaginary friend. However, I don't know, and I never shared that with anyone. And it will sound kind of weird, 'cause I thought it was a weird thing, but it was very real to me. Every time when I was a child, when I was alone in the house, I would speak into the air and say, "Hey guys, I know you're here. Can I please talk to you?" I didn't do it, but I didn't see anyone, and I just had that knowing that I was not alone in the room.
And that's actually interesting that you say that, because because that's actually on the list, is, do you hear voices, or have you convinced yourself that, or maybe, oh, that's just my imagination, or and so it's sort of that part of that kind of unknown. And as a child, we're definitely much more open to the possibilities, and we haven't been structured into
Mhm.
that physical versus spiritual spirit side of things. So of course the children are much more open, and things like feeling like somebody's watching you or watching over you,
Mhm.
or have had situations where you've made a decision in what you felt was intuitively, but when you start to look back at it, you feel like, wow, I was resisting that, but I seem to have been guided to to do something. So that's sort of an indication. And I mean, there's just a whole host of things. I remember, and even now, I tend to see things because I'm a psychic artist and medium. I tend to see a lot of things visually that are in spirit versus in the physical. But I tend to see a lot of things out of the corner of my eye. So I'll see a shadow move across, or I'll think that there's somebody there, and then I look and they're not there. Well, I've come to recognize it as there is actually a spirit energy there. They're not standing there like in full form or anything. It's just that there is an energy, a spirit energy there. And so if we start to pay attention, and it's interesting because the children, they see those elementals, you know, the fairies and the gnomes and the if you want to call that sort of the storybook caricatures or characters, and because they are close to the earth, and that's they're very open-minded, and so that's the little, and those are sometimes the little shadows that I see. For sure. And I've drawn many little fairies and elves for children in camps and at different venues, and they know. I mean, oh yeah, that I knew he looked like that. I had one little girl who I actually went to her mom's house to draw, and I drew for her mom, and she wasn't there, but she wanted a drawing for her daughter. She was about 6 or 7 years old. And I said, well, if I could just go sit in her room for a moment. And I went up to her room and did a sort of a preliminary sketch. And I just felt the energies in her room. I had never met that child. And I had met her mom at a course, but, for a day or two. And so when I came back and I had the drawing, and so I put it away, and it was kind of like this little, kind of Egyptian looking little boy kind of thing almost, but he was sitting on the moon, dangling his feet. And there was some other things in the picture. And later she came up to me, a few months later, and said, I just needed to tell you that when I took the picture out and said, I had a drawing done for you, she said, how did she know what my invisible friend looks like? And her mother was sort of blown away, because she said, I mean, she's not told anybody. So she asked, would you like me to put this picture up in your room? And she said, no, I don't want anybody else to know what my friend looks like. So that was her special picture, and she tucked it away. But it just, those kinds of things validate that there is something to those things. And so as a somebody who's developing their skills, and it's really about free will and my choice. I'm choosing to go on this path, and usually sometimes that path is created by a traumatic experience, a near-death experience, or something that has triggered that. And other times it's just a natural progression in life. And what I'm seeing more and more is there's a real younger generation, which is really fabulous, that are actually now seeking, where I feel like I was older when I started to try and seek my help to deal with my health issues and do it through healing and all that kind of stuff. And so we have all these young people that are on the search, and because of energy healing becoming much more I would say prevalent and open, the energy healers, here's what I think. This is my own personal opinion, but in the journey that I did with the energy healing, it started to heal my body and to shift and balance my chakras, and we can get into all that, but really it was, meridians, whatever you want to call them. It began to clear the pathway in order for the psychic art to come forward. And so, we deal with things like divine timing, and it is that my karmic path. And so there's a whole bunch of things, but there's some pretty basic tools out there that people can use to start to develop and I want to call them intuitive abilities to start with, right? Such as,
And
go
intuitive,
ahead.
yeah, I just wanted to kind of clarify is first of all, I know you have a great system that you've developed for yourself. Like first it's the psychic abilities or intuition, then it progresses into your creativity. What's the cycle according to Lois Warnock?
Well,
Because
the
I
cycle,
totally agree. Yeah, I just wanted to
yeah,
share with people because I
uh,
totally agree with the how it progresses.
yeah, yeah. And I want people to know that the cycle kind of, it almost goes back and forth, right?
Mhm.
But here, I would say that if meditation has been the biggest change in my, first off, my physical body, and then my spiritual body. And by meditating, and there's a it's so great now because you can go onto YouTube and try out these meditations without having to pay for a CD, take it home. Oh, I don't really like that. And go, oh, well, there's another one down. So it's about that, what's resonating with you. But I was very fortunate to find the crystal resonance therapy program, which was a home study, but I had to go to the US for a practicum, and it was a very heavy duty stuff. Okay. So, well, I don't have time for that, is what I'm going to hear from people. Oh, I can't do that.
Yes.
But what you can do is you can take bits and pieces from the different learnings and the different teachings of people and go, does that resonate with me? So, for example, the meditation, the Om, is one of the most powerful transformative vibrational shift. So when we start with helping people to learn psychic development, so we talk about the sound. So the Om, we even practice, oming with healing and all that kind of stuff. But the Om, and then there's other sounds. So your favorite music, the tuning forks, the singing bowls. There's all sorts of sound therapy, which is really getting to be a big healing modality. But there's all sorts of sounds that can assist with what you want to do. Is you want to start to raise your vibration. So as you raise your vibration, that's when you start to open up, whether it's your third eye, your intuitive body, that's what starts to open up and shift you into that energy to receive messages. And so I wanted to just say that I wanted to see if I had my clear, so to distinguish, because a lot of people say, well, isn't it all the same thing? What's the difference between a psychic and a medium? And even me, as I was going through my journey, I was rather confused, right? And
Yeah.
so I found this, and it was very, very simple. So um, the big difference is that a psychic isn't necessarily a medium, but a medium is a psychic. Now think about that for a moment. So in other words, a psychic, they tune into energy of people or objects. They may use cards or feeling the sensation of, past, present, future. They rely on a sense of intuition and their ability to gather that information. Whereas a medium takes it a step further in that they will do the same, but they also use those by tuning into the person or people in spirit. So that helps to clarify that as a medium, we're actually reaching from the spirit world for that information. So it could be sign symbols or the same thing that perhaps the psychic will come up with, but they're coming up with it sort of from a different angle. And I don't know, I'm curious, does that help explain that?
Explain the difference, yes, between the medium and the psychic, yes. Also, I just wanted to reiterate so that everybody who is new to the topic will understand what you said about the meditation, and I loved it. And I love meditation, and it's not that's the beginning of your journey. So it's basically you are always starting with yourself first. In order to help others, you have to start, you help yourself first. And so for you it was meditation, but meditation in this case, maybe for somebody, correct me if I'm wrong, um, it's a part, it's one of the ways, or one of the spiritual practices out there.
Mhm.
For me, I also find that the most effective. It does take time to get used to it, but what it does, it quiets the mind. And a lot of people think meditate, especially now when the word is so overused. And we were just having a conversation with my friend yesterday. He's a yogi monk yesterday,
Mhm.
and I live in the Silicon Valley. And he says people in Silicon Valley in the United States, they started using meditation, but for different purposes. They're trying to release stress. They're trying to kind of get like what does it do for me, and that's fine. I think it's a great way to start, but then it opens another door for you, and then you crave more. Is that what you're?
That's exactly it. And the thing that I teach, and I do teach and facilitate meditation, and the main meditation that I work with is called Primus, and it has actually been tested by the Heart Math Institute in the US for the effectiveness of it. And it is part of the crystal resonance therapy program, but it's a standalone modality as well. So you raise your vibration in this Primus meditation, and then you do your healing for your client in this state, and you're actually raising them to that state in the process so that they can heal, right?
Nice, beautiful.
So it's a heart brain link. And yes, I love it. But it is a 25-minute meditation. I did it for years, uh, absolutely every single day during my healing journey. And as I progressed and did other things, I didn't necessarily feel that I needed to do that one every day. I would switch to all the ones that I wanted to try and see how effective they were. And so uh, even a 5-minute meditation is a meditation. I mean, and like you said, the word has kind of been stretched.
Yeah,
We used to think as meditation of,
like
sitting
sitting like
quietly,
that. Yeah.
emptying your mind. And that's not necessarily meditations that are guided can be extremely helpful to people that have that mind chatter,
I
right? And
Yeah, I believe, sorry for interrupting. I believe that the meditation, the best benefit that we can, well, at least in my experience, is it brings you back to yourself. It brings you to you
yeah,
rather than, and so yeah, it's just, I call it alignment with God or alignment with source.
yeah, yeah,
That's what you are. It's not for the sake of meditating because everybody else is doing it. It's because you want to come back to who you truly are, not what you hear about you or around you. So that's the
yeah,
benefit. But Lois, can I ask you? So this is the first step for you, and then in your formula, you said, "I just want people to hear it."
yeah.
So this, like you do you start with meditation, you start with spiritual practice, then you progress it opens up your creativity portal, right?
Yeah.
And the healing
Yeah.
portal. So what's your system? What is the step-by-step thing? Do you mind
So,
to share it?
so I'm just going to read a little bit about tips on opening up without getting into a detail about the, but simply it's about there's sacred space, and it's your sacred space of where you are, and also you are the sacred space. So that's twofold. So, you can start with smudging or using a spray if you don't like the smoke. You can light a candle to actually signify that you're ready to receive spirit, and sort of that's that signal. A white candle sometimes represents that the divine, right? So acceptance and invitation. I use essential oils, frankincense. There's some other favorites, and I use different ones for different meditations that I'm doing because I blend them with crystals. So again, the meditations, the Om, uh, and mantras. And there's two mantras that I wanted to mention today. And I want to say that if you're wanting to start with a book, this is called The Human Aura. This is my bathtub copy. As you can see, it's pretty.
Okay.
It's been dropped a couple times. There's double authors on this, so it's sort of two books blended. But the mantra from that one is the I am light mantra, and balance the threefold flame mantra. And you can query those on the internet and they will come up. The I am light is something I do. I'm not going to say every day because then I'd have to be telling a fib. I'm supposed to be doing it every day, but I do all the time because it actually shifts. If you do it and then just notice your energy shift. And so it's a recommendation for all people that are sort of studying or taking classes, is to do your I am light. And if you're struggling and saying, well, it's just too much homework, it's too much this, at the very least, do the I am light. And if you memorize it, which is pretty easy to do, because even I could memorize it, I actually say it in the car when I'm traveling, or, if I've left the house and I go, oh, I didn't do I am light, I can actually recite it as I'm driving. And those are the two main ones. And then the balance, the threefold flame. So there's mantras, there's the sound, which is music, some kind of meditation, calming music, crystal bowls, your singing bowls, and drumming. Many people are getting into the drumming aspect of things and even making the drums, and it's very interesting to do meditations with the drumming. And then, of course, crystals. There's a whole host of crystals that can assist you with your meditations, and that's almost like a whole different lesson on that. But also practicing creativity. Get one of your coloring books and just, there's all sorts of mandala coloring books or other coloring books, and just crayons or pencil crayons, because that is actually a form of meditation. And there's actually a lot of coloring meditative books out there that people are now creating, and it actually puts you into sort of that state of focusing on that versus.
How is creativity connected to being a medium or becoming a medium?
Well, I can tell you that from my experience is that the more I meditate, the more creative I get. And the more creative I get, it's almost like a cycle. The more intuitive my psychic abilities, my mediumship abilities tend to grow. and then it's back down to the meditation again. And now in the meditation, I'm seeing things that I want to create. So then I'm going into that creative mode, and now I'm going, so it's really sort of goes full circle.
That's what I wanted to hear. Yes, I love how you just developed that. It's like the spinning wheel for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what it is it's actually a spiral. So if you think about it, that you start here and
then you go one
you've
spiral.
come around and you go, oh, wait a minute, I'm in the same spot. No, you're not. You're actually now
Yeah.
have moved up. And so so that's that coming back around, through your life and all the time. And you're exactly where you're meant to be at this time. And that, so the one thing that I do want to impart is that there are many, many teachers out there. There's many books. There's so much available that you can study at home, from a variety of teachers that are now, doing the online courses and doing this. And what you do is you find somebody that resonates with you and that you're almost pulled towards. And then you maybe do your meditation and ask your spirit helpers, show me, guide me. What would you have me do today? Can you show me a sign of which one I should do, or something to that effect? And then start paying attention. Start paying attention to the signs that are being presented to you. I want to name my pet, but I don't know what to name it. You go outside and you go down the road, and now there's this great big sign, a new sign that says Charlie. And then later on that day, you get a phone call and the guy says, hey, is Charlie there? No, you got the wrong number. Hang up the phone. And then you turn on the TV and, well, we have news from Charlie. Okay, so it's about, paying attention to those kinds of signs. And there's also, of course, lots of symbols and stuff like that go along with it. But even just simple signs that will, when you ask the question, you will get the answer.
You will get the answer. Do you teach? And thank you for the great tips today. I mean, it's sort of like you laid out we got the whole lay of land for how to become a medium and where to start. And if just curious, do you teach it yourself? If somebody would like to get more advice from you or become a student, do you have classes? Do you teach?
Yes, I do. And here I am also developing an intuitive art online program. And in that, it's almost like it wasn't quite finished, because I do love teaching that psychic development and the progression and the blend between the art and the psychic, right? And so been trying to figure out, okay, how can I blend that both? But yes, I would love to hear from you. You can reach me through Facebook, through my website at loiswarnock.com. There's a contact information, and currently my website is being revamped. So if for some reason you can't get on it, it's just because they're working on it. But they're trying to keep the old one up until we're ready to go live with the new one. And I would absolutely love to. I do any type of spiritual coaching along with the psychic art.
Yeah, you're incredible, and I love the fact that
Thank
you're
you.
staying so open and you're always upgrading your own skills, but you're brilliant already as you are, because I've experienced your work on myself, and it's just I can't tell you enough, guys, how brilliant Lois is, and she's
Oh,
just
thank
very
you.
powerful as a medium and also as an artist, just brilliant. I don't have any other words to describe it.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Well, it is what it is, right? And
And
so, Lois, before we finish, may I ask you, do you have this I am light available? Maybe you can just
yes.
like gift all of us with that so that we can continue with the day.
Yes.
And the
And
resistance of this,
so would you like me to read it to you?
if you
I,
could.
I would be happy to. And You normally read it 3 times, the lines 3 times, but I am just going to read it once. And before I read it, I just wanted to say that I actually pulled a card for today's session. And the card is actually, it's named Legends, and it's about learning from those who inspire you, and which was very interesting. Of course, yeah, okay. So it just means find that teacher, use that discernment to know, is that the one that resonates and works for me? Okay.
Yeah.
So I would invite everybody to just close their eyes, and just, I want you to imagine a white light above your head and just filtering down through your body. And as I read the I am light, just to feel the energy through your body. I am light, glowing light, radiating light, intensified light. God consumes my darkness, transmuting it into light. This day, I am the focus of the central sun. Flowing through me is a crystal river, a living fountain of light that can never be qualified by human thought and feeling. Such darkness as has used me is swallowed up by the mighty river of light, which I am. I am, I am, I am light. I live, I live, I live in light. I am light's fullest dimension. I am light's purest intention. I am light, 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 flooding the world everywhere I move, blessing, strengthening, and conveying the purpose of the kingdom of heaven. And so it is.
And so it is. Wow, that is so beautiful. I just can't get enough of Lois.
Yay!
We need to finish the program, but well, guess what, guys? We're gonna do another episode with Lois, and we'll leave it as a surprise. And it's going to be another aspect of what she is capable of doing, and she's brilliant at that. And it's a blend of the psychic and the artist, which basically is the title that she carries. It's the psychic artist. So, and as for now, you guys are watching Dream Big with Zhanna, inspiring you to reignite and refire and refuel your life. And we do hope that you got inspired. We do hope that you got a lot of guidance today. And if you did, you are the light. If you did, please connect with us. You can comment below the video. You can share the video with the friends who might be interested. If Lois is the one who is the legend for you and you would like to get in touch with her on different subjects, but specifically around being the medium, being a psychic, or somebody would like to have a session with her and have a portrait or meet your spirit guide, she actually has the same gift for us, which I'm very, very grateful for. It's a 15-minute miniature session that is called Meet Your Spirit Guide. And in that session, you can bring one most burning question that is going to be answered by your spirit guide, and you will find out who one of your spirit guides are, who is going to come through, and Lois is going to channel and bring forth the message from that. This is super cool. Thank you for doing that. And how you want to reach Lois is up to you. It's very simple nowadays. It's all in social media, LinkedIn profile, Facebook, just private message her. Leave a comment below this video. You can also find her through the website www.loiswarnock.com, and also on YouTube underneath the video under Zhanna Spitz Dream Big with Zhanna. And if you type Lois, then you will find all the episodes with her. So with that said, Lois, I thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me again.
Yeah,
It's a
thank you.
privilege.
We'll see you soon. And remember, guys, you are the light.
The light.